Hey viewers, me and team here. Welcome to a StarCraft 2 match. This will be a 3-on-3 match. I will be the purple Protoss, and my allies will actually be a couple of people who are from the weekend games for Polycast. And anyway, my first ally will be the yellow Protoss, Makalua. You may recognize Makalua from when she was playing in my Civilization 4 multiplayer game where I was playing as Mao. She was playing as Korea in that game. And then Puppies, also known as MLS, was playing as the Dutch in that game. So this is a couple of other crossovers from the Civilization game to StarCraft 2. And also Makalua is a regular on Polycast like I am, so yeah, check it out. Puppy's been a guest co-host a number of times. Another thing I'd like to mention is you may notice that there's a TMFTP heading my videos. That's because I've joined Too Much Free Time Productions, it's called, recently, and they request that I do that. I have not had too much of a chance to check out each of the individual members' pages just yet. But the way it works, it doesn't function exactly the same as Machinima, but it's the same idea, or a number of people, Let's Players or Gamecasters, will update, and basically the channel will focus on each of them rather than any one player. So I decided to go ahead and join up with TMFTP. And what do we have here? I should probably point out our opponents at this point. First opponent is the red Josie Wales. Then we have Teal, Zerg, Zarkasnor, I suppose. And then finally the blue Protoss, who is simply named Michael, which is a common name. There you go. But a good one. A good one indeed. Unless you're playing in, Genghis Khan 2, because, man, he's not a very good leader in that. But you can actually win from any position in that. And I will get back to that game. I don't know when, but I do intend to do the World Conquest scenario. I will not do it as Mongols. I will do it as somebody else. Anyway, now we're going to stick strictly to the game. Michael decided to cannon rush us. And skipping hitting me, I went for early Cybercore play. Little bit slow on getting the gas. I need to get the gas a little bit sooner just so I can get the warp gate sooner and chrono boost that sucker. In terms of income, I'm doing better. Actually, it seems like everybody in this game, I know it's a casual game, but it seems like everybody in this game, other than me, decided to just not build enough harvesters early in the game. I mean, we're at the 4-minute mark, and yeah, I'm Protoss, so I'm going to have more, but not that much more. There shouldn't be this much of a difference, especially with other Protoss players. So there you go. Puppies is at a level where it would make sense if he had that many, if he was cutting probes to produce early military. Maybe he was trying to defend against a rush or something. Anyway, Michael the Cannon rushes Makalua, also known as Mackie. And yeah, I told her not to do that with the probes. Once I noticed that she was responding that way. There's really not a lot she can do at this point once a couple are up. You just have to wait until teammates bail you out or until you can get a cannon wall to protect it, something like that. And yeah, now the Zerg has even sent in a couple Lings to cause even more problems and prevent Mackie from building any cannons of her own, so that's a big problem. This photon cannon is now unpowered and should be cancelled. Also, another thing I noticed for Makalua is that she queued up 5 probes at once early in the game, and you definitely don't want to do that. Look at the money that she has. You really only want to be training 1 or 2 at a time. I'm slacking a little bit here, although I already do have 26 harvesters. And yeah, now he's trying to cannon me, and I'm not putting up with this. I'm going to get rid of this. No, I also went Stalkers, because Stalkers, they're only 1 range shorter than photon cannons. So you can snipe pylons, and yeah, I got annoyed here and I had to pull off my zealots. But they can snipe pretty much anything that's in front of a cannon without any trouble at all, and really put the hurting on that. So I can prevent Michael here from putting cannons in my direction at all. Now, this does cripple the Protoss a little bit. Protoss could be handling his resources better, getting more probes, also picking up gas. If I'd known that he was playing this poorly, I would have just come after him with some of my spare units, and he would have had nothing. Zerg is going early air, it seems. Yes. And, well, Red is trying to macro up, and I think that is the proper response in this situation. We were so distracted that we had trouble blocking an expansion. Mackey's taken a lot of damage here, has very few harvesters, and pretty weak income as a result. And they're kind of just jerking around and squandering that advantage. Anyway, I do have warp gates now. I decided to go 4-gate early. Usually I like to go 4-gate early, and yeah, I got this gas a little late too. I need to get gas more quickly as Protoss and Terran, I think. You know, get supply locked, absolutely. This really threw me off my game. I did not play this game very well at all. And I know it's a casual game and all, but still, it bothers me when I don't play well. And that's definitely something I could have handled better, is responding to this while still executing my standard build, still avoiding getting supply locked. It turns out okay. Got upgrades started. I like chrono boosting out the Protoss ground weapons. Upgrades are very important for Protoss. They probably have the single most efficient upgrade system in the game, and Protoss players should take advantage of that. Is that your ground weapons, armor, and shields affect every single ground unit you have. You don't have to split between melee and ranged. You don't have to split between gateway and robotics facilities like Terran has to have to do, between factories and all barracks or starports. So you have some upgrades in your cyber core for your air, and otherwise it's all in the forge. So your entire ground forces come through, 2 simple upgrades and then a third one if you want to boost your shields. Armor tends to be better than shields, just because some things ignore shields and the shields don't have armor, whereas a lot of the Protoss units have at least 1 armor. So I would recommend getting armor over shields for that reason. And yeah, here I get harassed by mutas a little bit, and I realize that they're probably going air, so I'm going to start building some photon cannons soon. And yeah, they have our expansion scouted and everything. This is a pretty bad start, and Mackie is still recovering. I mean, I would be chrono boosting probes like crazy and just going econ to try to get in the game. It would be my advice if you get caught in this kind of position. Cannon placement could be a little better just because it's obstructing the probes. I would want to see it more out here, or maybe like 1 or 2 there and 1 or 2 there. Give the Mutalisks a hard time. She really shouldn't have too much trouble with air just because she's between Puppies and myself. Puppies, who's been quiet, has been working on his upgrades in massing stalkers. And yeah, here I take out the pylon and decide I'm going to clear out the rocks for my teammates. On the other side here, Josie Wales is deciding to pick up an expansion, already has that well underway, has the most income out of all of us, or will very shortly. He's actually even with me on the harvester count, but he has his expansion first, so that will change soon. And looking at production, Terran's going with Mech. And here's an example of that upgrade thing. Like, he can't upgrade his infantry unless he actually separately buys separate upgrades. And Blue is pretty obviously going air, having already started his air armor level 1. Not sure why he's doing that over air attack, and trying to secure his own expansion there for Michael. And here's another hallmark of beginner level play. We don't only have supply blocking, which I made a mistake with earlier, but you have lots of larvae, and look at all this energy. That's just painful. Keep injecting. Gotta stay up on the injections. I'm pretty sure this Zarkasnor was not random, so you really need to stay ahead on the injections there. Red's doing pretty good about spending his minerals. Usually you want to balance your unit composition such that you're spending your minerals and gas relatively evenly. Sometimes when you're trying to transition, that's not going to work out, just because you'll scout one thing and be like, oh crap, I need this kind of unit, and I need it now. And yeah, you're going to have a surplus then until you adjust your build again. But generally you want to stay below 500 on each, probably significantly below that on gas. Puppies is doing pretty well here now. And well, he still has way too few workers. Get some more workers, absolutely. I would say 22 is bare minimum, but for non-Zerg players, you probably want closer to 28 on a base is when you really start looking good. You know, somewhere into 26 to 28 range. Have a couple extra beyond 2 for mineral patch and 3 per gas, and you're good. So your puppy's taking an expansion. And yeah, when you have when you keep spending your minerals and gas, you're going to be ahead in supply, and that's pretty much why I have a superior army here. And I decided to push out. I was actually expansion hunting, missed this one for some reason, or did I just ignore it? No, I missed it because I'm playing kind of crappy. But you know, no trouble picking off these zealots. They're barely going to do any damage at all. Now I do notice this. I'm not quite sure how I noticed this, but I do notice this. Let's have a look here. Oops. Huh. Oh, maybe it was my own observer. But the muta reinforcements here are really problematic for me. Notice that the zealots with upgraded armor, so they have 2 armor, and they're hitting for 18 using their 2 attacks. They just plowed right through that force of marines that wasn't upgraded. It was like nothing, and even cut through the tanks, no trouble at all. But the mutas are a problem. But in comes puppies with already 2 upgrades, very impressive, and blink stalkers. And that's just amazing to have on this map because you have a lot of ledges and a lot of chokes, and stalkers are so mobile that they almost become as effective as flying units thanks to that. And up they come. Yep, puppies is going to be working the Terran over here a little bit, killing some workers. Look at that, boom, boom. Lots and lots of kills here. Really going to hurt Red's income quite a bit. Actually put me ahead of Red, I believe. Or at least very shortly I will be. And yeah, he also, for some reason, the Zerg decides to fight the Stalkers with the Mutalisks straight up without support. And that's no good. And here's Red's mech army. He's going Thors. Lots of Thors. Now, there's a reason that most Protoss complain about Bioball. That would be Marines, Medics, and Marauders. And they do not complain about Mech, usually. At least good Protoss don't complain about Mech. And that is because Protoss Mech is... and Terran Mech is awful against Immortals. Just unbelievably terrible. They do so little damage and take so much. Here you have Thor's Hammer for 33 damage and 2 attacks. That will have more than... it's going to have like almost 70% of its damage ripped away by the hardened shields of the Immortals. So the Immortals are taking 10 damage here per shot. And yeah, that's going to take quite a few shots to kill it. But the Immortals get a bonus damage and do 55 to the Thors. So it's just not fair at all. And that's painful. And yeah, their weapon speed is a little bit faster on the Thors. But Thors versus Immortals is a terrible matchup. Even Marauders aren't so hot versus Immortals. You really want Marines or other lower damage units that can be massed. Protoss here going mass Void Rays. Post-nerf, I don't see what the complaint about them is any longer. I really don't consider them that strong of an option. I kind of think of them similar to the over-nerf that Reapers took. And that now you never see good players bother with Reapers anymore, almost never, because they're just not strong. Again, too much money accrued. I'm doing pretty well on that. Probably better than most of the players in the game. If you look at the Units tab or Army tab, it shows. Although I lost a good bit of my forces fighting in the middle against Red there, I actually rebuilt it. I'm still 3rd overall in units. And if you look at the Harvesters, doing pretty well in Harvesters. Well enough to stay alive anyway. And yeah, here come the Void Rays. And the Void Rays are going to have to run away. And yeah, I picked up Blink as well. Just, it's so useful on this map. You really can't ignore it. I'm a little bit slow on the upgrades, but I am getting them. Just about to get level 2 attack here. And yeah, all kinds of air coming in here. Brood Lords, Void Rays. Just nonsense. And the Terran is pushing out with his mech army as well. And Mackie's slowly getting back into the game. She's got a Dark Shrine and got some Stalkers with Blink of her own. So basically, if we have triple Protoss here, all going Blink Stalkers. Although I worked in some Immortals when I saw that the Terran went mech heavy. And just, Brood Lords. Yeah, just what I didn't want to see. No, not my forge, not my forge. And it lives with 54 health. So, wow. Don't want to lose it for sure. And now I get to blink and attack the Broodlords. And Stalkers really need, or they don't need, but they are greatly helped by blink versus Broodlords. Because now Broodlords kind of have to stay out here, because if they come in any further, I can just blink next to the ledge and pretty much shoot them down very quickly. Mackie bringing in her Stalkers here as well. Just total overkill against this Air Force. Not quite sure why the Terran is going so roundabout.